didn't know, to someone who was walking by and who looked, and a look of sadness in her eyes. And when she smiled back gratefully and said hello back to me, I realized my little gift had given us both a lift. You never know just whom you'll meet throughout your day on the street. People just like you and me with loneliness and problems too. Yet life is always better when we take the time to be a friend to someone we don't even know. All it took is one hello. On behalf of the Maine Federation of Business and Professional Women, welcome to the 15th Annual Maine Hall of Fame. BPW Maine is proud to be co-sponsoring with the University of Augusta and BPW Futurama Foundation. This event recognizing women who make a difference. And those ladies we are honoring today surely fit into that category. This has been an exciting month for BPW Maine and BPW Futurama Foundation. We have had our prior inductees displayed on the third floor of the State House in observance of Women's History Month. We were invited to a special reception in the office of Patrick Caldwell, Speaker of the House, honoring all previous and current inductees. And the Maine State Museum contacted us. They are interested in having the portrait of Gail Austin placed in the State House. And we hope we can work with them so that they may achieve their goal. And to round off the third week of Women's History Month, the induction of Sharon and Judith into the Maine Hall of Fame. Thank you both for the time and effort you have put forward to enabling opportunities for all Maine women. Congratulations to your success. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Judith Park. I'm co-director of the Maine Case Library here at UMA. And on behalf of President Lyons, Provost Nadell, and Dean Abbott, I'd like to welcome all of you to UMA and to the Women's Hall of Fame 15th Annual Induction Celebration. And on behalf of everyone, I would like to say congratulations to the nominees, to their colleagues, and their families. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. From the trustees of the BPW Maine Futurama Foundation, I bring a warm welcome to you and our thanks for your participation today in this very special ceremony. The Women's Hall of Fame is unique in Maine and almost unique in the United States, for there are very few halls of fame in the various states in this country that recognize and honor women. We like to think that in this endeavor, Maine is a leader, and we're reminded of the motto, as Maine goes, so goes the nation. This 15th annual induction ceremony is special for several reasons. We honor two decidedly worthy women. We have survived for a decade and a half, and we're still building. And we have just completed our first traveling exhibit of our honorees' photographs and citations. As Rhonda told you, for the past 2 weeks, our honored women have been on display in the halls of the State House, positioned between the chambers of the Maine Senate and the legislature. We have provided visible testimony to women's remarkable history as the governor and the legislature have highlighted the accomplishments of women during Women's History Month. We've appreciated the opportunity to be at the State House to do some networking, to say hello to people. And we've also learned that there is a serious addiction to peanut M&Ms in the State House. The Maine Women's Hall of Fame is constantly gaining in public awareness. We're delighted that more people than ever before have accepted the invitation to participate today and to contribute even more generously than ever before with financial support for this ceremony and for our statewide scholarship program. The members of BPW are women with vision, energy, and commitment. Without them, we would not be here today. In establishing this Maine Women's Hall of Fame, they have created an everlasting way to recognize and honor women who have made a difference in our society and in the lives of Maine women and girls. These women will be forever remembered for personal achievements and for their own unique vision, energy, and commitment. BPW Maine Futurama Foundation is a proud sponsor of this ceremony. We value the steadfast support of our BPW members throughout the state of Maine. We pay tribute to our past state presidents who have kept our vision focused on success. We applaud the commitment of the University of Maine at Augusta to provide a home for the Hall of Fame. As the Maine Women's Hall of Fame has grown in the number of honorees over these 15 years and will continue to grow, it has developed into an increasingly valuable research center. Our foundation will work earnestly with the university to achieve the most visible and appropriate display possible for this impressive and important historical treasure. All of us in this room today are all making a difference, a positive difference. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. As chair of the Maine Women's Hall of Fame, I would like to welcome all of you here today. Thanks to BPW Maine's President Rhonda Crossan, Judith Clark, co-director of the Past Library, and Jean Hammond, president of the BPW Maine Futurama Foundation, for extending greetings to everyone here from the sponsoring organizations. We are certainly pleased to have so many people here this afternoon. Each year's ceremony is held here at University of Maine in Augusta during the month of March, which is in observance of Women's History Month. During the 15 years, the University of Maine at Augusta has generously provided the site for the display of photographs and citations for each honoree. This event is held annually on the third Saturday of March. We hope that you have enjoyed the silver tea, which was arranged for you by the Silver Tea Committee. We hope that each of you signed in at the registration table so that we can have a complete record of today's event and who was in attendance. During the silver tea, we had a chance to see the display of inductees, pictures and citations for the ones who are already in the Hall of Fame and who are actually new inductees today. They are displayed on new kiosks that have been provided by the University of Maine at Augusta, so we now do have a traveling Maine Women's Hall of Fame. In addition, there was a display of books by and about our honorees and scrapbooks of all our previous Hall of Fames. The United States Postal Service arranged a display of stamps featuring women. For the third year, we have a special Maine Women's Hall of Fame stamp cancellation. This is the sixth year that the Postal Service has helped us celebrate Women's History Month. In addition to the U.S. Postal Service doing the cancellation, they will be making a presentation of postal art in the program. The Hall of Fame is dedicated to women who have met these three specific criteria. The women's achievement have made a significant statewide impact. The women's achievement significantly improved the lives of women in Maine, and the women's contribution has enduring value for women. Nominations were submitted by a variety of organizations, businesses, or individuals. An independent panel of judges reviewed the nominations with careful consideration to select one or two honorees to be inducted each year. Since this is our 15th celebration, we would like to take a minute to honor the previous inductees of the Maine Women's Hall of Fame who are here with us today. So would you please stand when I introduce you? Caroline Gentile. Please stand. And Bo Galbraith. Could join us today, and we thank you for all you've done for women, and we're glad to recognize you again this time. And I did have a note from Shelley Pingree that she was sorry that she could not be here, and she wished to have her congratulations extended to the two that are being inducted this year. And this year we are honoring two Maine women for induction into the Maine Women's Hall of Fame. Sharon H. Abrams, Executive Director of the Maine Children's Home for Little Wanderers, who was nominated by Kennebec Savings Bank, Laura Hudson, and Mary Hammond for carrying the nomination. And Judith, Isaacson, educator, Holocaust survivor, and author of Seed of Sarah, Memoirs of a Survivor, who was nominated by Bates College, Elaine Tuttle Hanson, President, and Doug Hubley, staff writer. For the first time this year, we were approached about having the display of our Hall of Fame inductees at the Maine Legislature. What started as a request for a day turned into a request for a week, and once we were there for a couple of days, it turned into a request for 2 weeks. So we were at the legislature for 2 weeks. Marilyn Canavan, a representative from the Waterville area, made the initial request. Since the University of Maine was arranging to have a new display format for our pictures and citations for this year's ceremony, we were able to get the new kiosk early enough to use for the legislature. For the display at the legislature, several members were there at different times as hostess and to explain about the Hall of Fame. The first day of the display was Monday, March 8th, which is International Women's Day. Governor Baldacci held a press conference where he issued a proclamation. A few of us were lucky enough to be there in attendance, and I will read a copy of the proclamation. And many of you may have noticed that the original for the proclamation is on display in the art gallery. Whereas March has annually been designated as National Women's History Month in order to celebrate the contribution of women in our society, and whereas the theme of the National Women's History Month 2004 is Women Inspiring Hope and Possibility, which celebrates the inspirational work of women, whereas women from all walks of life inspire hope and possibility, and whereas women provide leadership in the public and private spheres, whereas women can promote and lead positive change in their lives, families, and communities, whereas the state of Maine is known and respected for its long list of accomplished women, and whereas we honor and celebrate such notable women from our past, including Margaret Chase Smith, Dorothea Dick, Rachel Carlson, Samantha Smith, Edna St. Vincent Millay, and Harriet Beecher Stowe. And whereas this month provides an opportunity to honor and celebrate all these Maine women who have provided hope and inspiration through their daily actions. Now I therefore, John E. Baldacci, Governor of the state of Maine, do proclaim March 2004 as Women's History Month throughout the state of Maine and urge all citizens to join in this observation. In testimony whereof, I have caused a great seal of the state to be hereunto affixed, given under my hand at Augusta, the 17th day of February in the year of our Lord 2004. John E. Baldacci, Governor. And a joint resolution recognizing March as National Women's History Month was read and adopted on March 16th by the legislature. Our Hall of Fame, and each of the present inductees were listed. I'm asking the Honorable Marilyn Canavan, representing from Waterville, to come forward and read a copy of that resolution.
Good afternoon. Joint resolution recognizing March as National Women's History Month. Whereas March has been annually designated as National Women's History Month in order to celebrate the contributions of women to our society, and whereas the theme of National Women's History Month 2004 is Women Inspiring Hope and Possibility, which celebrates the hope and sense of possibility that come to our lives from the inspirational work of women. And whereas hope comes in many forms, from women challenging and changing laws, women conducting new medical research, women sharing stories of compassion, leadership and courage, and women watching women stand tall against great odds. And whereas women from all walks of life all over the nation inspire hope and possibility as mentors and examples, and as athletes, activists, writers, scientists, educators, homemakers, advocates, politicians, and survivors. And whereas the state of Maine is known and respected for its long list of accomplished women in our society, be it in politics, literature, sports, or entertainment, we take this opportunity to make note of some of those Maine women who have been beacons of hope and inspiration to all people in our state. And whereas we honor and celebrate the following famous Maine women who have inspired us: Maine Women's Hall of Fame inductees: Senator Margaret Chase Smith, Mabel Wadsworth, Gail H. Laughlin, Elizabeth S. Russell, Nanetta Mae Reynolds, Gilda E. Nardone, Dorothy Murphy Healy, Esther Elizabeth Wood, Eloise A. Vitelli, Elizabeth Liz W. Crandall, Marty Stevens, Mildred Brown Schrump, Ethel Billy Wilson Gammon, Lois Galgay Reckett, Elizabeth Libby H. Mitchell, Olympia J. Snow, Caroline Gentile, Joan Benoit Samuelson, Linda Smith Dyer, Shelley Pingree, Theodora June Calico, and Nancy H. Hensel. And whereas we also take this opportunity to honor and celebrate all those Maine women who have not achieved fame, but who have given hope and inspiration through their daily action, now therefore be it resolved that we, the members of the 121st Legislature, now assembled in the second special session on behalf of the people we represent, take this opportunity to honor and celebrate March as National Women's History Month, and to extend our sincere appreciation to all Maine women who have unselfishly given hope and inspiration. House of Representatives read and adopted March 16, 2004, and Senate Chamber read and adopted March 16, 2004 in concurrence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marilyn, for starting that and for reading it here today. We had a very positive response from the legislature and the general public to our display being there at the legislature. In fact, a couple of people even asked us about being able to nominate someone, so we have their name so we can send them a nomination form to submit someone for next year. A special highlight of our 2 weeks at the legislature was certainly the reception of the office of the Speaker of the House on Tuesday, March 9th at 1 p.m. Current inductees and our 2 new inductees were invited, along with representatives from each of the 3 sponsoring organizations. Speaker Paula was a very gracious host, and I would like to have any members of the legislature, whether the House or the Senate, please stand so we can recognize you and thank you for having us there at the legislature. We had hoped to have more here today, but with a lot of the points involved in some things in legislation and budget today, it's been a busy day for them. Another first was being approached by Katie Perry to be interviewed on her cable show, Our Town's I was interviewed over a week ago, and the show was on this Thursday evening, so we're getting more recognition all the time for the Hall of Fame. At this point, I would like to ask Rosemary Winslow, who is District Director for Michael Mishu, Member of Congress, to read his greetings.
Dear Sharon, I would like to extend my congratulations on your induction to the Maine Women's Hall of Fame. It is a great honor and an achievement of which you should be very proud. Earning this distinguished award means that you have been recognized for your 30 years of dedication to improving the lives of your fellow Mainers. Through your leadership, the Maine Children's Home for Little Wanderers has continued its century-long tradition of service and has grown to meet the ever-changing needs of today's distressed children and families. Working in social services can be taxing, both personally and professionally, and requires a great deal of patience and compassion, traits you clearly possess in abundance. And I personally, coming from Local, having worked with Sharon, can attest to that. You are truly an inspiration to me, your peers, and the entire Maine community. Again, I congratulate you for a lifetime of remarkable achievement and for the well-deserved recognition of your many accomplishments. With warmest regards, Michael Mishu. Dear Judith, I would like to extend my congratulations on your induction to the Maine Women's Hall of Fame. It is a great honor and an achievement of which you should be very, very proud. Your professional life has been dedicated to the betterment of women and society as a whole, whether through your tenure as Dean of Women and Students at Bates College, member of the Bowdoin College Board of Overseers, or author of the bestseller Seed of Self. You have tirelessly fought for important humanitarian causes. And I have to admit that last year I had the opportunity to be at Bates College as we took a huge community look at the situation with welcoming the health and diversity of the Somalis and appreciated personally who belongs to. It is remarkable that though you have witnessed and overcome terrible atrocities of humankind, your determination and passion for your work has never wavered. You are truly an inspiration to me, your peers, and the entire Maine community. Again, congratulations. You have for a lifetime of remarkable achievement and for the well-deserved recognition of your many accomplishments. With warmest regards, Michael.
Thank you very much, Rosemary, for reading the greetings. And now, the aspect of having more to do with the state government, I would like to introduce Laura Faulkman, who is Commissioner of the Maine Department of Labor, who will give some special remarks.
Good afternoon. The term special remarks has me a little bit nervous here. I was delighted to be invited to spend a little time with you this afternoon. I had the pleasure of being present when Governor Baldacci did sign the proclamation on March 8th, and have also been able to witness the display over at the State House. And I want to congratulate Representative Canavan for her hard work, her dedication, and for broadening the number of people who have been able to see the display and to recognize the hard work of BPW over the past 15 years for making sure that women in our state who have done remarkable things are remembered and recognized. As I was thinking about coming here today, I was wondering what I could possibly add to what I knew would be a wonderful celebration and keep it short enough, because the real importance of today's event is to honor the two women who are sitting up here, and I want to quickly move to that. But I was thinking that there had to be some quote from somewhere that would have significance for today. And one that came to me was something, and I can't even remember who said it, but the quotation was, "What would happen if one woman told the truth about her life? The world would split open." And I think that that's what has been happening here for the last 15 years, is that BPW has been recognizing those contributions woman by woman, but they represent kind of all Maine women. And by telling that truth, we learn something about ourselves and also about our community. So I want to give my deepest appreciation to the folks who had the vision to begin this project and the tenacity to continue the project. Because without remembering these women, and as I listened to the list of women who have been inducted, there are many longtime friends who are in that list and who every day work to improve the lives of women and men and our communities in this state, and rarely are thanked or recognized for that hard work. It's also important to remember that there are many people who will never receive this honor. But by recognizing these women as examples, it elevates the work of everyone in the state. So I just wanted to offer my congratulations today, to say congratulations to both Sharon and to Judith, and to thank BPW and everyone in this room for your hard work. And to also, for another quote, it says, "To be one woman truly, wholly, fully, it is to be all women." And I think that that's what we're seeing here today, is a recognition of the good work of all of the women in the state, and congratulations to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Laura, for sharing that with us and for being here today. And now it's time to begin the actual part of the program, the presentation program for the induction of our two honorees. And in order to be fair, we just did them alphabetically by their last name. That's the only reason I wanted to. Yeah. Too, so that's the only reason. So I will introduce the ones that are going to do the presentation for each inductee, and then I'll let them each get up and do theirs, and then we'll do a certificate for you afterwards. So the ones that are doing the presentation for Sharon Abrams are Mary A. Hammond, Assistant Vice President and Human Resource Officer for Kennebec Savings Zone. And the other lady from Kennebec Savings who's going to be here, she couldn't be, and we have filled in for her, Lynette Comanche, who's a grant operations manager for One Vehicle Insurance. Colleen Taylor, Director of the Waterville Alternative School, Alternative Education Coordinator for the Waterville School Department, and Paul Tessier, President and CEO of International Northeast Biotechnology Corridor, the Teague Biotechnology Center in Fairfield. So,
Good afternoon. I am thrilled to be with you this afternoon to speak on behalf of our honoree, Sharon Abrams. The Kennebec Savings Bank has had a relationship for many years with the Maine Children's Home for Little Wanderers, which has given us an opportunity to get to know Sharon quite well. During that time, we have seen her commitment to the pregnant and parenting girls in the Teen Parent School program, who have matured under her tutelage and guidance. We have been impressed by her lifelong belief that each person can achieve their goals with proper guidance. We applaud her efforts to provide a better quality of life for young women and families in Maine. For these reasons and more, we chose to nominate her for this esteemed award. I've also been fortunate to have the opportunity to know Sharon and the wonderful work she does through a personal connection with the Maine Children's Home. Several years ago, my husband and I were pursuing adoption and chose to go through the process with the Maine Children's Home. It was a wonderful learning experience as we went through the program. The staff was incredibly thorough and sensitive to our needs. Although our lives took a different direction, resulting in our son, who is now 3 years old, we are indebted to Sharon and her staff for the preparation that they gave us. I believe that as executive director, Sharon quietly surrounds herself with truly exemplary people who have contributed to the success of this organization. She and her staff have touched the lives of not only families, but also many young women throughout the state of Maine. Our niece is also a member of the Maine Children's Home Teen Parent School program. Today, she is a mature young woman who is using her parenting skills to raise her 7-year-old son and is making a successful life of her own. The program helped her during a time in her life when things could have turned out very differently. We are very proud of the young woman that she has become and thank Sharon's direction of this program. Mother Teresa said, "Do not wait for leaders. Do it alone, person to person." Sharon Abrams has been doing this for the past 30 years with the Maine Children's Home for Little Wanderers by building an organization, sharing her passion and high ideals for the children and families of Maine, and leaving a legacy, providing many with hope for the future. On behalf of Kennebec Savings Bank, congratulations, Sharon.
Good afternoon. I think the last time I was on a stage, I had a pair of tap shoes on. But you're safe if there's carpeting up here. I'm not Laura Hudson. She could not be here today, unfortunately. She is one of the two that nominated Sharon for this prestigious award. And I know she would love to be here. She has allowed me to share some of her personal experiences, though, with you regarding Sharon and the Maine Children's Home. I stand before you in awe of the dedication and compassion and commitment that Sharon has for individual human lives, small and tall, and for her society as a whole. She is, her rigorous schedule includes, just to mention a few, membership and activities in the Kennebec Healthy Families, Children's Home Society of America, Lakewood Manor Nursing Home, Osteopathic Health Care Services, Goodwill Hinckley, Youth Services Committee, United Way, National Fellow of Child Care Executives, Maine Board of Social Work Licensure. And this is but a few of a list way too long to mention today, but it gives you a clear picture of how open her arms are in extending herself, her knowledge, her experiences, and her energy to other organizations, in addition to her day job, that share the same mission. Laura Hudson is another woman I admire, and let me share with you a few things, personal things about herself and I that we share in common with the Maine Children's Home. Laura and I shared the same bump in the road, which Laura refers to as the bump in the belly, when we were both respectively 17. And if you must know, I was 17 a lot of years before her. Nevertheless, we ended up at the same place, which was the Maine Children's Home Teen Parent School Program. And I think I was there only a couple of years after it had started, so Sharon was quite fresh and young and ambitious, much like she is today. Very, very compassionate, very dedicated. It was a very safe environment for us to feel comfortable continuing our education, finishing our high school, learning about the care of our children, and building back that self-esteem that we tend to lose. Now, Laura had earlier experiences with the Maine Children's Home. They have a summer camp program. She benefited from that, and I'm sure built experiences of summer fun to last for a lifetime. She also received at Christmas, through the Christmas program, some of the only gifts that she had some years. And when times got really tough for Laura's family, she was able to find comfort through foster care in the program sponsored by the Maine Children's Home. This gave her and her sister a glimpse at what a strong family life could be. With the strength of the previous support of the different services, Laura delivered a beautiful son, raised him to be a strong, thriving young adult, and she continued her education up through her master's degree. And she is now a successful businesswoman. I chose to take a different road those many years ago. I worked with the Maine Children's Home and their adoption program to ensure that my little girl had two loving parents that could give her much more than I felt I could at that time. So I forged ahead with a heavy heart and received my bachelor's degree and dove into corporate America. Almost 20 years later, I came back to the home and joined the Adoption Triad support group and the birth mother support group. All of these services provided by the Maine Children's Home. The counseling helped me to prepare for the day that my little girl, now a loving woman, opened her arms and brought me back into her family. Sharon invited both Laura and I to join the board of directors of the Maine Children's Home. We are proud to serve and have served for several years, including positions of board chair. And I am sure we will continue serving this fine organization and helping Sharon for many, many more years. Sharon has this bungee cord tethered to us, and several others, I might add. So we keep coming back to an organization that we believe in, and to an organization that she was a very significant part of building. In closing, I don't know the ultimate source of Sharon's inspiration and strength. What I do know is that that source, through Sharon, is delivered to many, many others who continue to pass it on.
Thank you. I'm also honored to be here today to speak about Sharon. Sharon has many gifts, as you have heard, and she has shared those gifts unselfishly over the years, but the one that I'm going to address today is her special gift as an educator. Sharon graduated just last week from University of Maine in Farmington. You're welcome. With a teaching degree in family and consumer science education. It didn't take her long to find her niche in the world of education when she was hired by the Waterville Public School System to be a tutor in a brand new and extremely innovative educational program for pregnant parents and teens. It was the early 70s, and Waterville adult education was struggling to educate a significant number of young women who had had to drop out of school in order to take care of their children. At the same time, just across the river or stream, Maine Children's Home was working with the same group of young women by offering them parenting and prenatal classes. Two very innovative administrators decided to embark on a collaborative measure to combine their services to meet the needs of this unique group in a more holistic way. The goal was a high school diploma with some life skill education thrown in. Here comes Sharon, right out of the University of Maine, full of energy, full of knowledge, and ready to take on the impossible. Don't you love those days, you know? You can do it all. She had to develop the curriculum for a new program, which meant finding materials. She made them out of nothing. She told me there were days that she went up to the high school and went through the trash barrel to see what was available, what Waterville was throwing out, and that became part of her teaching material. She had to teach all the academic classes and deal with the extensive social and emotional issues that the students brought to the classroom every day. It would have been easy to walk away as a new teacher and say, you know, this just isn't for me. Send me back to the home ec lab where I can teach cooking and sewing and life will be good. She didn't do that. She worked diligently, using all her energy and expertise as a teacher to deliver classes to these young women. She understood how important it was to them, their children, and their futures to achieve that elusive diploma. And along the way, she fell in love with them, and they fell in love with her. And she has dedicated her entire professional career to their welfare. Her hard work and dedication established a strong foundation for this program. And because of her tireless drive, the Teen Parent School program is well respected throughout the state and New England, and is approaching its 30th year in existence. What a legacy she helped establish. After a number of years as a teacher in the program, she became its director. Although Sharon no longer had to plan the curriculum and teach the classes, she was never far away to offer guidance and direction. She was always looking to improve the program, and under her guidance, a daycare center